My name is Hansson, and this is another episode of Fix It SF. What we try to do each month is look at an issue that actually can be fixed in San Francisco. And today we're going to be talking about a project that I've previously discussed, and that is the entrances and exits leaving and coming to San Francisco. Whenever you have a disaster, in wartime, for instance, when a city needs to be rebuilt, the one thing they always do is make sure that when you leave the city and you come into the city, that it looks beautiful, even if it's just for a block or a half a block. Well, if you look at the entrances to San Francisco, we're completely the opposite of that. If you come in from the Golden Gate Bridge, you enter the tunnel leading onto 19th Avenue, and all you see is graffiti. You see no planting. If you come in from 280, same thing. You come into the city, you have areas, that are not planted, not beautified. But the worst example of this is 5th and Bryant Street. 5th and Bryant Street is the main thoroughfare that actually comes into San Francisco, goes through 5th Street, and will end up at the Convention Center, Moscone's Convention Center, as well as Union Square. When you leave the city on 5th, it is the last stop heading on to the bridge. And as a note, it's highly popular with cars that are just stopping there. And what do you see there is just incredible. When you leave San Francisco, you'll be confronted with a navigation center on the right, and in the new tree service of San Francisco, which now covers from the exiting of San Francisco to the entry of San Francisco at 5th and Bryant. Now, over the course of the last several years, I had tried repeatedly to work with the city, the state. It is a Caltrans site. I brought in California Beautify, America the Beautiful. I contacted brokers and owners to talk about taking over that area and doing a public-private partnership. But for the last several years, the county, San Francisco, as well as Caltrans, has been working on their own project, which has now come to fruition, and that is San Francisco Street Tree Initiative. And what this is they are now growing trees in this area and creating workshops in those areas. But by doing so, not that project is bad, it's just the wrong location. If you look at the photos, you'll see that everything is now walled off like a prison. And even the beautiful building they created is behind what appears to be a prison fence. So if you look on the one side where you're now coming into San Francisco, what do you see now? Before, you used to see homeless waiting and begging there with graffiti and dirt. Now you have a fenced-in area that looks like you're coming to San Francisco, you're entering a prison. It's very, very narrow. These walls, fences are high, and it's anything but appealing and anything but sending the right message about San Francisco. Then as you cross the street and you're heading into 5th, you have a broken down donut shop that was previously going to be a high-rise that is not getting built. And then you go up the street and there's nothing at all that's been done to beautify the area. Now, would it take a lot of money? No. Okay, but why, knowing that you have such an important entry, is the Caltrans and the city not in conjunction with neighborhood programs and sort of looking at how could we beautify the area? And now they've created a scenario that makes absolutely no sense for this area. This is, again, an example where they're not in touch with the problems that are occurring in this city. So what I would urge you to do is, again, write to your board of supervisors, write to SOMA, the district that's responsible for this area. I would also entertain that you invite your assemblyman and state senator to participate in this, and look at this as an example of how did this go wrong? How did this get built? Great program, necessary program, put it in the Bayview, put it someplace else, but not at the artery of where you enter and exit San Francisco. There should be a much broader discussion of how do we improve our image in San Francisco. It starts with coming and going. What does it look like? And from 5th and Bryant Street, we need to look at 280. We also need to look at 101 Golden Gate Bridge. And we need to ask ourselves, how can we make this look better? Other cities in the United States, I was in Cleveland last year. Here's a city that's had its own share of problems, yet every thoroughfare coming in and out of that city has been beautified. It's gorgeous. No encampments, no dirt, no garbage. Same thing in Washington, D.C. Same thing leaving the airport and coming to the airport in Chicago. They understand that even though they have problems, that the most important thing they could do is make sure that people have a good thought as they enter a city and a good thought when they leave the city. So please, I urge you, look into this problem yourself and contact your water supervisors, contact the mayor, contact your assemblyman and state senator and say, what is going on here? It's such an easy fix, and yet it can't be done. It hasn't been done now for the last 5 years since the pandemic, since I started this whole effort. So we appreciate your support, and we look forward to next month's Fix It SF.